Hey guys, so last night I was getting a bunch of visions and revelations from the Lord, and I got a word from the Lord, and I asked him if he wanted me to share, and he said he did, um, all the way up to where I saw the owl. So that's where we're starting in the visions I saw. And I did take notes because it's a lot for me to explain and remember on my own, so bear with me, but this is a prophetic word for the times we're in now and about the judgment and the desolation that are coming. And so yeah, let's just get into it. So the first thing I saw was an owl. And as I saw the face of this owl, it began to like zoom in closer to me and focus on the left eye of the owl. So I looked up like the spiritual meaning of the left eye and found that it can signify God's judgment and warning. And so that's pretty, that fits. So after I saw the owl, after I looked up the meaning of the left eye, I looked up the meaning of an owl biblically. And what I found is the owl in the Bible symbolizes desolation, loneliness, and mourning, often appearing in context of judgment and abandonment. It represents places left forsaken and reflects deep sorrow. However, owls also embody wisdom and insight, highlighting the owl's ability to navigate the night can be seen as a metaphor for finding wisdom and guidance in times of darkness or difficulty. In this sense, the owl can also represent a journey through challenging times, emerging with greater understanding and insight.
Was it this one?
So I thought that was super fitting because that's what this is about. It's about judgment and desolation and mourning for our country, but also it represents finding wisdom and guidance in times of darkness and difficulty. And that is where the Lord is saying, come to me, I can help you. And the Lord has shown me that he has a plan for his people. The people that are getting called up to the harvest are the first fruits. Those are the ones that are fully mature, ripe, and ready. And is of his people. And not everybody is there. And there's going to be a lot of people that didn't think that they were going to be left behind. And the Lord is saying, it doesn't matter. Come to me because I have a plan even to redeem you in the revelation. Believe on my name. Believe in me. Believe. And I have a plan. He has set in place his witnesses, his prophets, the 144,000 to guide those through the revelation and bring them into safety and protection. And so if you don't lose your faith in the Lord, even when the hardest and most trying of times and it looks like there's no hope, no way out, and like he has completely abandoned you, I can tell you from trial after trial after trial to prepare me for the times that are coming ahead, this is what it's been like for me. But the Lord does not abandon you. It is a season and trial and test of just knowing that God will come through for you no matter what, no matter how impossible the situation looks. And don't give up on that faith. And he's going to come through at the last moment. He's never early and never late, like always on time, right? But he has a plan for his people in these times, whether you get called up or not. The ones that are getting called up are his chosen ones. They are the 144,000, the two witnesses. I know there's a lot of different views on this, but that's just what it is. I can tell you firsthand, as the Lord is really taking me deep down this road. So, the next thing I saw would be the lion stepping down from like his dwelling, like his cave, down the stones. And that just really made me remember, the other day I watched a video, one of God's children saying that they, probably one of his prophets, that they had a vision and the Lord showed them that the Lord has arisen from his throne. Like that's how close we are. That's the times we're in. And this really like resonated with that for me. So the Lion of Judah, so he was slain as a lamb, but he returns as a Lion of Judah. So it makes sense that he's showing me this in the form of a lion coming down, stepping down from his dwelling, getting ready to come. And so then I saw a cape like billowing in the wind off the back of a superhero, but the focus was not on the superhero, it was on the cape more so. And this is representative of the glory isn't for, it's representative of God's 144,000, the two witnesses, God's chosen. And the glory isn't for us. It's so God can get the glory. Like we're focusing on God's glory and God's work through his chosens, not on the chosens, right? So that would make sense why you only see the cape. But in the time of the tribulation, they will have like souped up bodies with abilities that the Lord's going to give them. And I know this is hard to understand or accept, but the Bible says even greater works than when Jesus walked the earth, you know, some of us will do. And they will have abilities to do things in the Lord's name to complete what the Lord has called them to complete and to keep his children safe. So without going too deep into that, the next thing I heard in my spirit is it's time. And so it's time. We're almost there. It's time. It's what we've all been waiting for. So next, at the time exactly of 12:22, I saw rainbows shooting. And so the number 12 is a sign of God's perfect governmental foundation and divine authority. It symbolizes spiritual authority, and some examples of the number 12 in the Bible include the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ. Jacob had 12 sons. God ordered the 12 loaves of unleavened bread to be present in the temple each week. And there is a strong association with the number 12 and the second coming of Christ. And then for the number 22, there's 22 chapters in the book of Revelation, okay? And 22 symbolizes completeness, unity, and divine protection. So it represents restoration, blessings, and profound spiritual insight. It signifies divine revelation, enlightenment, and truth unraveling. Also, Jesus sends his disciples out 2 by 2, and it's going to be the same thing in these last days. He's going to be sending out his chosens 2 by 2. So, next I heard, it's been hard, but I had to burn it out of you. And it's been hard. Yeah, but that was the purpose. As gold and silver are refined in the fire, they get burned and to burn all the impurities away, and they get burned as far as they can to the very last second before it would get burned up and ruined. The guy that's doing it snatches it out of the flames to preserve it, and that's when it's at its most purest point, right before its total destruction, just seconds away from being. That's when they snatch it out. And there's a the way they know when it's ready is when they can see their own reflection in the gold. Like, so when Christ can see his own reflection in you, that's how he knows you're ready. The point of right before your total, like if you were to be stretched any farther, you would be destroyed. Like you are literally stretched to your fullest capacity. One more stretching, you would be destroyed. That's when you're ready. That's when he can see Christ in you. That's when you are pure gold. So he says, it's been hard, but I had to burn it out of you. I had to burn out the dross. So, dross, how do you say that? Next, at 12:30, I saw Jesus coming on a white horse. So the number 12 is a sign of God's perfect governmental foundation and divine authority. It symbolizes spiritual authority, and at the age of 30, Jesus began his ministry. According to tradition, he began his ministry at the age of 30, and it was considered significant for taking on important roles and responsibilities. 2, the Levite service. In the Old Testament, the Levites would begin their service in the temple at the age of 30, Numbers 4:3. This marked the time when they were considered mature and ready for their duties. So that's pretty like, whoa, considering what God's chosen and the 144,000 and the witnesses and his children that he's getting ready. So David's reign over Israel began at the age of 30, 2 Samuel 5:4. This was the age seen as a point of readiness and maturity for assuming leadership. And then the Jubilee year. In the Old Testament, every 30 years was a Jubilee year, a time of release and restoration. Debts were forgiven, slaves were set free, and the land was returned to its original owners. Like, wow.